Your AC has been running for 6 hours straight. The house still feels warm. And that electric bill? It's about to hurt. Here's something wild. For thousands of years, people cooled their homes without AC. No electricity, no refrigerant, no thermostat. And in some places, their homes stayed cooler than yours does today. They used simple tricks: airflow, shade, water, even the walls themselves. In this video, you'll learn 5 passive cooling systems anyone can use. No big budget, no contractor. Just smart, old ideas that quietly do the job. Stop running your AC all day. Let's cool your home the way it was originally designed to be cooled. So how did we end up so dependent on AC? Back in the 1950s, air conditioning hit American homes, and it felt like magic. Push a button, the house gets cold. So builders stopped worrying about the climate. Why add tall ceilings, shaded porches, or smart window placement when a machine could just handle it? Homes got sealed up tight, built fast and cheap, with cooling left entirely to the AC unit. That habit is expensive. The average American household now spends hundreds of dollars every summer keeping cool. And on the hottest afternoons, when everyone's AC kicks in at once, cities like Houston and Los Angeles start warning about blackouts. There's an environmental cost too. Most AC units run on refrigerants that trap serious heat if they ever leak. But here's what's easy to forget. People before AC still dealt with brutal heat. Summers in Arizona, Texas, the Deep South. They were rough. The difference is, people didn't fight the heat with machines. They designed their homes to work with it. Thick walls, shaded windows, airflow that pulled hot air out before it built up. Most homeowners today are sitting on one of the simplest tricks and don't even realize it. It's already built into their house. They're just using it wrong. Open 2 windows on opposite sides of your house. That's the trick most people are getting wrong. Here's why it matters. Air moves from high pressure to low pressure. When there's a breeze outside, or your indoor air is noticeably warmer than the air outside, opening windows on opposite sides creates a path. Hot air gets pulled out, cooler air gets pulled in. Your house starts breathing on its own. Most people just crack one window near where they're sitting. That barely moves any air. It's like trying to drain a bathtub through a straw. You need an entry point and an exit point, or the air has nowhere to go. Builders in the American South understood this. They lined windows up directly across from each other, room after room, so a breeze could travel straight through the entire house. Southern porches, tall ceilings, and hallway windows weren't just for looks. They were built to catch and move air. Here's how to copy this, even in a modern house. First, figure out which direction the wind usually comes from in your area. Open a window facing that direction, then open one on the opposite side of the house. Even a small gap works if the placement is right. Second, try night flushing. This works best once outside temperatures drop noticeably below your indoor temperature, which usually happens a few hours after sunset. Let that cooler night air move through your house, then shut everything up tight before the heat returns in the morning. How much this cools your home depends on your climate, your layout, and how big that day-to-night temperature swing is. In dry climates with cool nights, the difference can be dramatic. In humid areas, it's more modest. Third, add a box fan in one window, facing outward. This pulls hot air out faster and pulls cool air in through the opposite window even quicker. It costs nothing. It takes 5 minutes to set up, and in the right conditions, it can make a real difference. But airflow alone won't keep a house cool through a scorching afternoon. For that, your walls need to do some of the work too. Picture pressing your hand against a thick adobe wall after sunset. It's still cool to the touch, even though the desert outside is baked all day at 100 degrees. That's not luck. That's thermal mass, and it only works when it's paired with the right conditions. Thermal mass means a material that absorbs heat slowly and holds onto it. Thick stone, adobe, brick, even concrete, they all act like a heat sponge. During the day, these materials soak up the sun's energy instead of letting it pass straight through into your living room. As temperatures drop later in the day, that stored heat slowly makes its way back out of the material, and goodnight ventilation carries it out of the house before morning. This is why old desert homes in places like New Mexico and Arizona stayed livable without any machines. The thick walls absorbed the punishment of the afternoon sun, then released it gradually once the outside air cooled, with nighttime airflow clearing it out completely. Most modern homes don't have this advantage. Thin walls, drywall, vinyl siding, these materials heat up fast and cool down just as fast. There's almost no buffer between outside heat and your living room. You can borrow a version of this without rebuilding your house. Shaded masonry works well. Think exposed brick walls or a stone accent wall, especially if it's kept out of direct afternoon sun. Tile and stone floors work the same way. If your home has tile anywhere, That floor is already absorbing warmth during the day, instead of leaving all the work to the air around it. One caution here. Water holds heat exceptionally well, which sounds useful, but placing barrels of water in a sun-drenched room can backfire. If that water doesn't get the chance to cool off properly overnight, it starts releasing stored heat back into the room the next day instead of helping you. Water only works as cooling mass in spaces that get real nighttime airflow to draw that heat back out. As for furniture, solid wood offers only a small effect here, nothing close to what masonry or tile can do. Thermal mass isn't a standalone fix. It's a partner to shade and airflow, working quietly in the background while those two do the heavy lifting. And there's a system that leans on all three at once, using something even simpler than stone. Airflow moves heat out. Thermal mass slows it down. But the smartest move is stopping that heat before it ever touches your walls. That's what shade does. Old homes across the Mediterranean, the Middle East, and even the American South were built around this idea. Narrow streets in cities like Fez or Jerusalem kept buildings in near constant shadow. Homes were built close together, with overhanging roofs and covered walkways, so the sun barely touched the walls at all. In hot regions of the American South, deep porches wrapped around houses for the same reason, blocking direct sunlight before it could heat the walls. Here's the part most people get backwards. They focus on cooling the air inside their home, but the bigger problem is heat entering through windows and walls in the first place. Direct sunlight hitting a west or south-facing window can significantly increase indoor heat gain, even with the AC running full blast. Windows alone are responsible for a large share of the unwanted heat that builds up in a home during summer. The fix doesn't require construction, and it works at almost any budget. Start with your windows. Exterior shades, awnings, or even simple shade cloth block sunlight before it hits the glass. This blocks far more heat than closing curtains from the inside, because by the time light reaches an indoor curtain, the heat has already entered the room. Next, look at your walls. If one side of your house takes a beating from afternoon sun, that's your priority. A shade sail, a pergola, even a fast-growing vine on a trellis can block direct sunlight from hitting that wall for years to come. Trees are the long-term move. A deciduous tree planted on the sun-facing side of your house blocks intense summer sun, then drops its leaves in winter, letting sunlight back in when you actually want the warmth. Even outdoor blinds on a west-facing window can measurably reduce indoor temperature during peak afternoon heat. Combine shade with the airflow and thermal mass we just covered, and your house is already doing most of the work AC used to handle. But there's one more system that pulls the whole idea together using nothing but wind. Picture a tower rising above a desert home. No fan, no motor, no electricity. That's a wind catcher, and it's cooled homes in Iran for over 1,000 years. Here's how it works. The tower catches wind high above the house, where breezes run stronger and cleaner, and pulls that air down into the home, pushing hot, stale air out the other side. Some designs went further, running the incoming air over a small pool of water or wet reeds. As air passed over that wet surface, evaporation pulled the heat out of it, so the air reaching the house was actually cooler than the air outside. That second trick, evaporative cooling, works especially well if you live somewhere hot and dry, like the American Southwest. A basic version: hang a damp sheet or towel in front of an open window with steady airflow. As air passes through, it picks up moisture, pulling out a modest amount of heat. It's not a real cooler, and it only helps with decent airflow and low humidity. For a stronger effect, you need more surface area for air to pass through. Swap the towel for a purpose-made evaporative cooling pad, or stack damp burlap in a wooden frame, then blow a fan directly through it. Forcing air through the wet material rather than past it produces far more cooling than a towel alone. One catch: this only works in dry climates. In humid regions like Florida or the Gulf Coast, the air's already too saturated to absorb more. But in a dry region, a setup like this can meaningfully cool the air entering your room, using nothing but water, wind, and fabric. 4 systems down. One is still hiding in plain sight, right above your head. Your roof takes more direct sunlight than any other part of your house, and in most American homes, it does almost nothing to fight back. Step 1. The roof absorbs heat. Dark shingles soak it up all day. Step 2. That heat radiates down into your attic, which can hit well over 130 degrees on a hot afternoon. Step 3. Without ventilation, that trapped heat presses down into the rooms below, and your AC ends up fighting a battle it didn't need to fight. Old Mediterranean towns solved this differently. Drive through Santorini or coastal Morocco, and every building is white. White surfaces reflect sunlight instead of absorbing it, so those rooftops stay dramatically cooler under the same blazing sun. 2 fixes bring that same idea to a modern roof. First, passive attic ventilation. Ridge vents and gable vents let hot air escape using nothing but natural airflow. No electricity required. A powered attic fan can move even more air, but that's an optional upgrade, not part of the passive system. Second, a radiant barrier, a reflective foil layer installed under your roof. It bounces heat away before it ever soaks into your attic, the same principle as those white Mediterranean rooftops, just applied from the inside. If you're due for a roof replacement, lighter colored or reflective shingles help even more, especially through long, brutal summers. Simple materials, smart placement, and almost no power needed. 5 systems now, all working together, and they bring us right back to where this started. Remember that electric bill from the start of this video? The one that made you wince? Here's the truth. You don't need to replace your AC. You need to stop relying on it as your only tool. Cross ventilation moves hot air out and pulls cool air in, for free. Thermal mass, in the right walls and floors, slows heat down before it reaches you. Shade stops that heat before it even touches your house. Evaporative cooling, in the right climate, drops the temperature of the air itself. And your roof, done right, stops fighting against you and starts working with you. To be clear, this isn't about ditching your AC completely. These systems are built to work alongside it, cutting down how long it needs to run. On the hottest days, your AC may still earn its keep. The real win is using it less, not eliminating it. Start small. Pick one system from this video, the one that fits your house and your climate best, and try it this week. Night flush your windows. Hang a shade cloth. Set up a damp fabric near an open window. Small changes add up fast. Which system are you trying first? Drop it in the comments. I read every one. And if you want to see how entire cities stayed cool without a single machine, the next video is waiting for you.